Hello and welcome to the latest G3 Pulse podcast. After securing its latest license in Italy and ahead of the company's first appearance at G2E Las Vegas, joining me today is David Yatom, the General Counsel at Soft2Bet. David, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Firstly, how do you reflect on SBC Summit Barcelona a week and a half ago? Was the event a success for the company? Did you attend the event personally?
Yeah, I was there personally. I thought it was very efficient, quite a big venue, and very impressive in terms of presence. Also lovely to have such an event in such a nice weather as opposed to ice. I think it will be an interesting change going forward also on that ice venue. But very efficient. I saw a lot of people. A lot of opportunities, and hopefully next year will be as successful as it was now, only in a different, slightly different position.
And now branching out to a bit of a bigger question, I see that on a lot of press releases recently, you've been attaining licenses left, right, and centre, and it's been your name at the bottom. So, kind of overarching, what is Soft2Bet's global expansion strategy? What do you consider the company's home markets, and where do you see as ripe for expansion?
So in Soft2Bet, we've kind of set ourselves with a target to go into as many regulated markets as we can. But that also comes into some reflection prior to entering into any market. It's not like we're expanding without any consideration. We chose and still choosing the markets that we penetrate to very carefully, understanding where and in which market we can. Does it make sense commercially to penetrate to? Does it make sense from a product perspective to penetrate to? And where do we believe we will be able to achieve a much bigger piece of the market? We chose the markets that we've walked into so far because of the saturation. We believe that we will be able to secure a much more comfortable environment when there are less operator operating in the market. It gives us a bigger opportunity where our product will be more relevant and appealing to the individuals, depending on their culture. And that would, and many more, is part of the reasons, part of the things that we consider when going to the market. And we're hopefully to expand into more and more in the future.
And your most recent license was for Italy. So congratulations on that for a start, with a view to also certifying the platform in the market. So tell us more about your plans specifically for that market for the time being.
So Italy has been quite interesting. It was kind of a different way to acquire a license. It's basically been an acquisition of a company that already holds such a license in Italy. We are placing our operation with its own operation. Italy is a difficult market. It's not an easy market to go into. There's a lot of restriction when it comes to advertisement, and there's also a very hefty operation when it comes to certifying your platform and operation. Currently, the existing operation of our license is under a different platform. At the moment, we're sticking to what we have. In the long term, we'll see exactly how it's going to develop. But what we're going to do is going to replace it with one of our existing brands, start operating, and slowly and surely getting our market share, understanding the markets, how to operate, learning it, and then later on potentially trying to replace it with our own. But right now, we're moving ahead with what we have.
They're not very simple, are they, to attain these licenses? I mean, Soft2Bet's making it look quite easy in the sense of you're getting licenses left, right, and centre at the moment, but they are quite complex. As you say, you have had to acquire a company in order to get this license. And sure, there was more to it than just getting the license, but it is quite complex. So could you just talk to me about kind of your European expansion strategy for the time being, and how expensive and complex they can be to attain?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. I think it's somewhat internally, it might seem maybe the external spectator, it might seem easier, but we do have an amazing compliance and legal team that are very working very dedicatedly on getting each one of these licenses. Some of them we already obtained previously, and was just stepping into the shoes of my predecessors and the existing team. Some of them we've done a lot of work obtaining during the last year. Um, it's a very we've kind of structured a path and a way in which we get all these licenses. We engage with very prominent local advisors. We understand exactly what is the process. We lay down internally, both from the legal and compliance perspective, but also from the product perspective. There's a lot of phases internally that we see through in each one of those licenses. Because we've done them so many times so far, it became a much more efficient one. Italy has been a little bit different because of the way that we've structured the deal. It's not a license application, but an acquisition. But it actually made it a little bit more easier. I am proud of the team because we've achieved this challenge independently. We've done the acquisition internally in-house, and it was very efficient. We were lucky to have a good partner on the other side, and the results show.
I picked up a line from a recent interview you did with your kind of own in-house website where you said that Soft2Bet marries robust compliance frameworks with agile business strategies in new gambling markets. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I was also speaking about it during Sigma Balkans when I participated in a panel discussing responsible gambling. Basically, we've developed our platform in a way that will actually anticipate what regulators are expecting to see in the markets. We're one step ahead. Working in so many regulatory environments just gives you an indication, there's an expectancy of what to see. And we're building our platform in a way that will project those, and that will be easier for us to make the modifications relating to each one of those regulations in a quite flexible manner. Personally, I think that creating some sort of synergy between all of the responsible gambling and AML and other regulations is very important. I'm sure that any regulators will want to see some differences when it comes to applying this general mechanism. But all in all, if you change only the numbers and leave the mechanism quite homogeneous between all of the markets, I think it will be beneficial for all of us, and that's what we're trying to create whenever we plan. When we plan our product, when we plan our platform, even when we plan our services.
Well, when you've got the product, you've got the platform, you've got the services, everything's lined up, you've got the license. What kind of operator partner relationships do you strive for, particularly in new markets, as we're discussing? Is size and scale everything? Is it that you want to partner with the biggest and the best and there's nothing wrong with wanting to do so? Or is it about having a partner who has a collaborative ethos, particularly, as I say, on new markets where you want to kind of learn more about player preferences and research the market?
So it's very important for us to have a partner that understands the market. As I said before, it might be one task, and it's quite an easy task right now for us to obtain a license. But understanding the way and the manner to work in the market is a much more difficult task. Luckily enough, that's not something that I'm specifically or directly responsible within the company, but there are other teams that are working very hectically to try to understand this. And when you have a partner that's already operating in the market, having the ability or understanding the environment, understanding the culture, understanding the regulator, and having the relationship with the regulator is much more important. So when we choose partners, we try to choose those that have an understanding, that have certain experience, and we're looking for someone that will be able to elevate them when it comes to their product, when it comes to the design, when it comes to the products that they use. We try to differentiate ourselves from others, but then again, we also understand that we have to rely on people that have experience. And personally, myself, I think that the company shares the same perspective. If somebody's willing and is able to teach us or give us a little bit more information, we will take that advice and we will work in synergy to try to make this a bigger success story. And then later on, when we develop, we're able to take more operators, show that and demonstrate the experience that we have gained, and try to elevate others to success. And we do this in cooperation with both Tier 1, Tier 2, and even smaller scale operators. We're hoping to grow to bigger ones, but we do invest heavily with medium scale operators as well. We want to give them a chance. We're going to give them the opportunity similar to the one that we've received and had so far.
And once you're in the market, how do you go about customizing and localizing your platform and technology? So would you say that localization precision, if you will, necessitates being in the market, or is it only something that can come with time?
I think it's a combination of both. You will have to set up something that will make sense in the beginning before even penetrating the market. That's something that has that's a given, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to elevate yourself even slightly in order to try to learn from the process. But as you go along, yes, there are adjustments that we're making. Yes, there are things that we're changing in order to align with the information that we receive from the demographic that we obtain based on our platform, and also, more importantly, from what we see from players and the operators themselves.
And at the top of this discussion, we discussed your attendance at SBC Summit Barcelona, and something that was really picked up and pressed upon at the event was your Soft2Bet's gamification technology. What advantages does this tech present to your operator partners?
So this is very exciting. I think this is one piece that very much distinguishes us from other operators in the market. We've developed various gamification mechanisms, whether it's our stadiums, arenas that we build, whether it's our city builders and other shops that we apply, and many more is to come. It's not only that, we're constantly investing in finding more and more gamification features. This, coupled with our very unique designs of games, of websites, really sets us apart from other operators. I think that when you log into one of our website or one of our partners' website, you really get a different feeling and an experience of game and overall view of what you see. And I think that's compared to the very generic casino website that you normally see, it gives you, gives you the wow effect and gives you a reason to stay. Something that will create a little bit more commitment from the players. I think we've also developed a mechanism that allows us to be a little bit more versatile when it comes to the gamification feature. We're not sticking to one solution. We have more and more. We constantly develop them, and we figure out which one of them works in one market, which one of them works in a different market. Not all of them will work in a specific one, and we apply it. We learn from it. We've seen that these gamification features increase retention by over 60%, increase GGR by over 90%. These are crazy numbers. And we hope that we will be able to showcase this in more and more territories, and that more operators will actually see the benefit of it and decide to work with us.
And staying with the product focus, you've got a new AML tool, I believe. I don't know how much you're allowed to discuss this, but what are its capabilities and how long have you been working on the innovation?
Again, I wasn't working specifically on the solution. This is very much something that our developer and the product team have been investing time on. But being responsible for regulation in the company, I can assure you that we've been working closely with these teams to make sure that we are not only applying what we believe to be the regulatory frameworks, but as I mentioned before, we're trying to create something that is a little bit more robust, that will anticipate the future and will give you a little flexibility if these regulations change. I think that one important thing that needs to be emphasized with respect to our platform is that it's versatile, it's adjustable. I think that's one of the elements that we're trying to implement in each one of the tools that we apply. I think that's what's important about it. Once again, to the possibility that I can discuss such technicality, is that it is adjustable. It is customizable. It is very much like our gamification feature or our website or our platform for that matter.
And significantly next week, moving on to the US scene, Soft2Bet is going to attend its first G2E Las Vegas. That does, for such a big company, we see the kind of the size and scale of the stands that you have at the European events. To be doing your first G2E is quite something. So what are your expectations for the event? I assume you've been before, maybe in another capacity, but from a Soft2Bet perspective, what do you expect?
I'm very excited to come back to the US landscape. It's definitely a very challenging landscape, very challenging regulation, a lot of very big and professional operators. There's obviously some big players that we'll need to face. Our expectation for G2 is to first and foremost showcase our presence in the market, or at least our intention to penetrate the market, to introduce ourselves to casino providers, to other operators, to game providers, and to create partnerships. And that's the most important thing. We are going to invest a lot of resources when it comes to the US. We understand the difficulty of operating in this market and the difficulty of obtaining a market share, especially when you're working with giants like DraftKings or Flutter. So it's very important that you really measure what is your capability. We decided to move in with New Jersey initially, and to slowly and surely build our presence. One of the things that we're looking at when it comes to the operation in the US is not necessarily showing our B2C capability, but rather demonstrating our B2B capability through such B2C operation. We're hoping that once people realize what sort of a unique and special product that we have, that they will decide to use and partner with us and use our services, and so that we can offer it to them as well. So basically, that will be a showcase of our capability.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like Soft2Bet is in Europe. You know, I think it's fair to say a powerhouse in the sense of you're picking up licenses left, right, and centre. You're at a different stage compared to your US operations at the moment. So why do you see now as the right time for Soft2Bet to ramp up its US operations? Because it's a big market. It's still a young market. Is there any particular reason why now?
Well, it's not the right time. If you ask me, the right time would have been a couple of years ago. But this is where we're at right now. We can either wait and figure out where this market is going to go and lose the train, so to speak, or we can do what we can in order to penetrate the market right now, understand how is it that we are going to operate in this market. And as I told you before, what we do initially is to learn, is to try to understand how will the market react to what we do. So I think that starting in New Jersey would be a good place to start at. We're a little bit too late, but it's not like we're gonna give up. Okay, we want this. We believe that we will be successful, and more importantly, as I mentioned before, I think that this will be not only demonstration of our B2C capability, but also of our B2B capability. I think that for a service provider, supplier with such a unique product, it's actually quite early stage. And that's what we're trying to leverage on.
Would you say that it will require product changes insofar as your sportsbook offers over 1 million live events? Cracking number, don't get me wrong, but does that need expanding upon if you're going to be going to the US? Is quantity as good as quality in that regard?
Yes, but having a good product is always, and a quality product is always important. And as I said, we're constantly improving. We will improve. We will have a wider selection. We will look at eBet and other markets to be added to these offering. Ones that will align with the US market. And we will expand further on. You have to understand also that first and foremost, we are a casino provider. Yeah. So one of our focus will be having a very good casino product that we will later on try to leverage. And sportsbook is something that we rely on as well. But as in all of our product, we aim to be at the best, offer the top tier product that we have, so that it will be more intriguing, more exciting for the players to join, and most importantly, create something that is a little bit different.
Well, to round out the discussion, let's just touch on that iGaming perspective. Industry executives believe that the two main areas of focus going forwards will be slots and live table games. So how are you ensuring that you have the requisite iGaming solutions for US operators and players, not just content that works in Europe that you hope will work in the US?
So we also have our own gaming studios and develop very unique games that we try to leverage on. We will try to leverage on in the US. But generally speaking, we've created relationship with European operators, tier one operators, that we intend to bring with us to the US as well. We've always engaged with those partners that are industry leaders, and we will continue to do so in the US as well. And hopefully, um, knowing the capabilities of the company, we potentially could develop these similar solutions ourselves later on in the future. We intend to do so, but depending on the investment, it needs to be something that would align also with our marketing penetration expectancy, the new licenses that we will obtain, and the current service level that we are committed to with our partners. Once we align all of this, we'll definitely try to develop more products, whether it's going to be a sportsbook, whether it's going to be another a live solution, or any other exciting development. I'm not even limiting ourselves to iGaming. It could be a lot of things that we will be thinking of introducing. AI is very strong right now, so we're thinking about including all of this in our offering, and hopefully it will be exciting to US players as much as it is for European ones.
David, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Very interesting stuff, and safe flight over there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to watch more, why not subscribe to our channel somewhere here.